Coming to you live from the RHAP studios, it's Rob Has a Podcast, and now here's a man who often has been called a lady boy himself, Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our Amazing Race wrap-up. Here we are back after episode number 3 of Amazing Race 26, and here with me to break it all down is the knowingest, knowing it all of the Amazing Race. Here she is. It's Jessica Liese. Jessica, how are you?
I'm good, Rob, but you shouldn't undersell yourself. I really think that you definitely qualify as a lady man.
Lady man. Yes, that's right. A lady man. That's right. All right, so we are here to talk about an episode of The Amazing Race. Non-elimination. Jess, did you see that coming?
Kind of.
Yeah, I sort of said like where it was like blatantly obvious that Team New Kid was going to be last. I said, oh, this is going to be a non-elimination leg.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those tinfoil hat people that thinks that whenever the producer's favorite team is in last place, they make it a non-elimination leg. But I did think there was kind of a missing sense of urgency about John and Harley's entire leg, this leg.
Yeah, I'm not normally one of the people that gets into that, and I feel like that there was definitely points where there was a non-elimination when there shouldn't have been, and with the whole thing, like I felt like last season with Jim and Misty when they had the save and they were saved by a non-elimination, but this one does, it seems a week early for the non-elimination leg.
Well, you can't have it the same leg every season.
Why not?
Because then people
we have the switch at the same time every Survivor season.
Yeah, and people come to expect it, don't they?
Yes, I guess so. So
you don't want there to be a leg in the middle of everything where people are like, well, it doesn't matter what I do this leg because nobody's getting eliminated. I can just kind of, walk it out. I don't care if I'm first or last. Like, that just takes all the suspense out of it. People need to be on their toes.
Okay. There was no sense of urgency. All right, so this is the night we're going to recap everything that happened in this leg of the race in Thailand, Jess.
Yep, they certainly were in Thailand.
Yes, they certainly were. And we'll talk about ladyboys and much, much more. Plus, at the end of this interview, if you're listening to the podcast version, I will bring you my interview with CJ and Libby, Jess.
Woohoo! It's a barn burner.
So many people this week were emailing me, where is the interview with CJ and Libby? We want to hear from CJ and Libby. Where are they, Cesternino? Where are they, ladyboy?
You got to give the people what they want, lady man.
Give the people what they want. And so you will hear in the audio version of this podcast my exclusive interview with CJ and Libby, and they will tell us everything they know about The Amazing Race 26.
I can't wait. I'm sure they've got some wonderful insights.
Wonderful insights. Okay. Jess, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. I think, for a non-elimination leg, I thought this was pretty fun. It was pretty solid.
Yes. Jess and I had a nice time on the Survivor podcast yesterday. We talked about all of the Survivor voicemails. That was a lot of fun. You can check that out on robhasawebsite.com. And here we are now tonight live again on robhasawebsite.com. We've got the chat room open. We've got a lot of people chatting about the episode. Plus, we are taking your tweets, hashtag RHAP, and also on our YouTube channel at robhasawebsite.com/YouTube. We'll be taking a bunch of your questions later on in this hour. Jess, but tonight, it was the first night in 3 weeks where it was the existing couples strike back almost tonight.
Yeah, I think I spent a lot of the first 2 legs saying these people are outclassed, these blind date couples are going to steamroll over the competition, and then this leg, they all proved me wrong.
Yeah.
So good for them.
How about this? Rochelle and Mike are your #1 team in the clubhouse.
That I did not see coming, and I'm really excited for them because they really ran a flawless leg.
Yeah, they really did, because they had been at the back of the pack, and now here they are. They make their big move, and they are #1.
Yeah, it just goes to show you anything can happen on this race.
Anything can happen, and it usually does, especially when you're in Thailand. And so not only did we have an existing couple win this leg of the race, we also had an existing couple get engaged. So congratulations, Mazel Tov to Matt and Ashley.
Yeah, it was a lovely moment, and he picked just the right time, I think.
Good. Let's talk strategy on this, Jess. I want to know from you, is that the right moment? Because it seemed like a weird spot for me. I felt like, maybe you want to do that if you're team number one. Maybe you want to do that if you're eliminated. But for Matt to propose at that spot in time, I believe they were, what, sixth? Sixth to finish. There was a lot of other teams there. It was a scenic vista.
Well,
What do you think?
that was why he picked it. He wanted everybody else to witness it. And some people really go for that in the proposal. Like some people, we've seen proposals on the show before, and some of them just kind of happen at a quiet moment where they're by themselves. It's just them and the cameraman. And others, they want to have everybody there to share the moment. And I think that's very much the kind of people that Matt and Ashley are.
Jess, what would you want?
Well, I can tell you from my own personal experience, I was proposed to where there was absolutely nobody around in sight.
I thought you guys were at a Mets game.
We were not at a Mets game.
We wanted on the big screen.
I wanted an engagement at a happy occasion.
Yes. Okay. So you had a private moment.
Yeah, we were kind of we were in this small town in Uruguay, and we were right on the river. It was very quiet, peaceful. We waited till nobody else was around. It was very lovely, and that was the kind of person I am. I don't want to do that in front of everybody.
Yeah.
But some people are more extroverted than I am. They're gonna want to have that fanfare, and they want people applauding, and they want everybody to give them Mazel Tov right there. So, that works for them. And I thought it was, given the kind of people they seem to be, I thought that was the right call.
Yeah, I hear you. That I used to tease Nicole about that I was going to go take her to like a Dodger game or something like that. And she would say, I will say no to you in front of all those people if you do something like that to me.
And so how did you end up doing it?
Private moment. It was a private moment. That I took her out to a dinner, and then I believe I told her that I needed to go back. We were in Los Angeles, but I got like a classy hotel room, so that she should have known something was up because I'm never doing that again. And so I ended up taking her out to dinner, and then I actually told her I needed to get back to the room. I needed to use the bathroom in the room. That's very romantic. That's romantic. And then I had like champagne delivered while we were out, and then I proposed there. The last romantic thing I did.
The very last, huh?
Yes.
And
that was
here
it.
You are.
All right, so congratulations to Matt and Ashley, and how about this? They even score the date night. How about that, Jess?
Yeah, they didn't really score it. It got handed to them
Yes,
by a pair of people that weren't going to use it for romantic things anyway.
Yes, well, officially, Kurgan is over as a relationship, and it's fun because, we have a season of all these people on dates, and while some of the blind dates have sort of fizzled into frenemies at best, Kurgan, at least, we have, like, one team that's, like, the best friend team on this season.
Yeah, and I miss the best friend team, so I'm happy that they're going to embrace that role.
Yes, okay, so we have one best friend team amongst 8 other dating teams, or at least at best frenemy teams. Now, Jess, here's what I want to know. Let's go back to our newly engaged Matt and Ashley. First off, violating the premise of all dating couples. They should have been eliminated on the spot. Phil should have said, Matt and Ashley, I'm sorry, but by the rules of this season, you're no longer a dating couple, and you are now eliminated.
Yeah, like that seems fair to me. But on the other hand, we had Kurt and Bergen decide they're no longer dating either.
Yeah, that's fair.
And what if one of these couples breaks up?
Laley, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Jess, here's a question Keith Dixon raises in the chat room. Was the ring in the fanny pack? Actually, I believe Nowhere Man raises that question in the chat room.
That might explain why he freaked out so hard about the fanny pack. I thought that was just maybe because he's seen the show and he knows how important the fanny pack is, but now I think it's because the ring was in there, and he was worried that, not only would they get eliminated that leg for not having their fanny pack, but he would be out, like, however many thousands of dollars he spent on this ring.
Yeah, did you get a chance to see the ring? I never pay attention to that stuff.
They showed a close-up of it in the preview.
Yeah, what'd you think? Impressive?
It's flashy.
Flashy. Do you want like a big engagement ring while you're running around on the Amazing Race?
Yeah, I tend toward not wanting to have like obvious blingy jewelry while I'm traveling in general.
Is that the move though on the Amazing Race where you sort of like could bring like I just was listening to the Michael Ian Black audiobook and he talks about when him and his wife went on his
Yeah,
honeymoon,
I know
they
the
sort of
story.
flashed the engagement ring and they say, "Oh, well, let's bump you up to first class." Is that the move where it's like we need a ticket, we're on our honeymoon?
You know, that could be the move, and here's something I think I would do in this position. I would go ahead and get a decoy ring to propose, and I would have that decoy ring be the most ridiculously flashy piece of cubic zirconia.
Yeah.
And then you've got something to brag about, but you're not worried about losing it, and everybody's going to see it.
Yeah, and then you get date night for free.
And then you get date night.
Yes. So, Jess, is your partner in on it also? Is it like, you know...
Well, you explain it to your partner like, this is just a placeholder ring, and we will pick one out together because I know you are a particular person with unique tastes.
Mm-hmm. And your partner's got to be a good actor to be able to fake it then of the fake engagement.
Well, it's not a fake engagement. It's a real engagement. It's a fake ring.
I guess so. But they know it's coming.
No, you explain it when you give them the ring. And
Okay.
now it's like, hey, everybody, look at me, I'm engaged. And then they don't have to worry about the actual ring that they're going to have forever being stolen or lost.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we've done enough ring talk. This could be.
We're not a De Beers commercial.
Yeah, he went to Jared cast. So, Jess, this was an odd leg of the Amazing Race to me because there was so much talk about, you know, who slept in what room. I mean, we've never before had like the show open up and this person stayed in this room, this person stayed in this room. Then there was a whole piece in the episode where it was like all the teams have to share these other rooms and have sleepovers. Like, Jess, did that seem odd to you? So much talk about who's sleeping in what room on The Amazing Race?
Yeah, previously we have not seen a whole lot of this. And whenever you see what people are doing between legs, for a very long time we have not seen any of this unless it's germane to the plot. Like if somebody oversleeps, then we go to their hotel. Or if somebody has something terrible happen to them between legs, we might go to wherever they are so that we can witness this. But we saw it a little bit in the previous season. There was the one time they were in Scotland sleeping in tents on the beach, and you show them coming out of the tents, and you can see where they're staying. And I think they might be bringing back what the old school fans would affectionately call the eat, sleep, and mingle.
Whoa.
And they used to be they'd all have to stay in the same area, and they'd get to talk to each other, and they'd get to know each other, and they'd have food. And then season 15, they started sequestering the teams between legs because they figured if somebody's going to have conflict, they want to catch it on camera. And now I think they're kind of bringing back that sense of camaraderie, like everybody's in it together, we're all staying in the same hotel. And people do ask, what do people do between legs? And I think there's a little bit of interest. I don't think there's a ton of interest, but I think there's enough to merit showing it every now and then.
Now, Jess, I also thought it was odd that there was a point in the race where the teams, like, basically were told that they get to go and party in Thailand for a night. Did that seem odd to you?
It's happened before. It hasn't happened in a long time. This is another kind of shout-out to a classic Amazing Race season, where they would have to wait around all night, and they'd be kind of left to their own devices.
Yeah, so when you see like Amazing Race people doing shots and stuff like that, that doesn't make you feel like it's any less competitive than a regular season of The Amazing Race, right?
I don't think so. As much as I would love for people to kind of over-imbibe and wind up hungover while they're trying to run the race.
Yes. I remember, I believe it was the Twinnies original season. Like there was like just one day where they're like, okay, just go to the beach today.
Yeah, that was a little more engineered, I think.
Yes. Okay, well,
Although
this
this
was...
is kind of the same situation. We had one team so far behind, they gave everybody the chance to catch up.
Yeah, like I really feel like this leg was designed for people like, oh, people like The Hangover. Let's try to recreate the plot of Hangover 2 with the Amazing Race contestants.
Oh, well, with all the same levels of cultural sensitivity they're in.
Yeah.
Because,
All right.
What do you think of when you think of Thailand? You think of transgendered entertainers.
Yes. Jess, were you surprised the Amazing Race went there?
I was a little surprised the Amazing Race went there.
Yeah.
It seemed really, I wouldn't say actively disrespectful, but it seemed a little bit tone deaf.
Yes, yes. This was not exactly transgender, right?
No, it was not.
Transparent. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was very transgender, Rob. What are you
Yes,
talking
yes,
about?
transparent. Yeah. You don't feel like this had a ton of cultural sensitivity?
I don't think so. And I mean, it is something like there are plenty of entertainers in Thailand who are male to female transgender, but I think it's a little exploitative to put them on The Amazing Race like this.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair point. But I mean, what's the idea here? It's like this is ratings. People want to see ladyboy tasks on The Amazing Race.
I don't think anybody actively wants to see it.
I feel like,
and I especially don't think I want to see all of the racers dressed up like that.
Yeah.
It seems like a little bit like, oh, look, let's laugh at the guy in makeup.
Yeah. I feel like we're in a weird spot here, Jess, that we're on Amazing Race 26. There are teams that are on blind dates, like in Thailand, dressing in drag, talking about ladyboys. I feel like that I feel like we've lost our way.
Yeah, it went a little bit off the rails.
A little bit off the rails. As far as the actual task, what did you make of that as an Amazing Race task?
It was too similar to the one we saw 2 legs ago.
Yeah. A lot of dancing on the Amazing Race so far.
Yeah, a lot of... And I don't know what the rationale is for that. I mean, everybody's going to say they're building up to a memory task.
What will the memory task be? All the dance steps?
Yeah, all the dance steps, or they play like all the tunes, and you have to like match the costume you wore or something like that. I don't think there's going to be an obvious memory task on this show ever again.
Yes, no memory tasks. Scott, I want you to block anybody that tweets us questions about will this be part of a memory task this season.
Yeah, you're off.
You're blocked. This is not a non-elimination leg.
Denied.
Yeah. Which of the men did you feel like made the best ladyboy in your opinion, Jess?
I think everybody was very fond of Tyler as a ladyboy.
Tyler as a ladyboy.
I think everybody thought, he's got these very pretty eyes, and I think the makeup really brought those out.
Yes.
But I quite liked Harley's alter ego, Harleisha.
Yeah, Harleisha. He said Harleisha's going to come out.
Yep, and apparently she did.
Yeah, Jonathan said that he would never, for all of the drag shows that he's been to, he has said he would never do it, and then there he is.
There's a lot of things. I feel like the theme of this season has been John saying he's never going to do something, and then him doing it.
Yeah, it does seem like Jonathan, there's like a plethora of things that he either never wants to do or said he won't ever do again. Right? Like, he doesn't want to dance, he doesn't want to do heights, he doesn't want to dress in drag. Like, what does Jonathan ultimately want to do?
Well, I was going to say he wants to sing and dance, but he already said he didn't want to dance. So
he doesn't want to dance.
Maybe he just wants to sing.
Yes. Did he make a mistake by being in the New Kids on the Block and not being in One Direction?
I think he might be old enough to be a parent of every single member of One Direction.
All right, fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay, let's touch on a couple of these blind date couples, because there was some rocky times for the blind date couples this week. And let's talk about Blair and Haley this week. Of course, Blair and Haley, things really started to go sideways for them at the point where they got to the task. You had to pick either ski or tree. Tree was the easier of the two tasks for most of the teams, as long as you followed the directions, which involved taking all of the stuff from the tray or from the menu up on the tray on the zip lines. And Haley said, I think you need to take all the stuff. And Blair was like, no. Like, those are the guys, they didn't take it. And then it turned out she was right. And boy, did he not hear the end of it.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is just a classic example of people's personalities just not matching.
Yeah.
Like, both people are kind of at fault here. Like, Blair can't seem to hear Haley whenever she says something. It's happened a couple of times now where she has been right about something, and he chooses not to engage that and not to follow what she's suggesting to him. She turns out to be right, and then she doesn't let him live it down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're both at fault here.
Are we sure that they are not actually a blind date couple, but actually a married couple?
Yeah, they've secretly been married for a decade.
They've been married for 30 years. Because
and they're 25.
I can relate to what this is like, because Haley does not let it go.
No, she doesn't, but he doesn't let her be right either.
Yes. And really, like, they had no shame in front of all the other teams, just like really going at it.
I mean, that is a sign that, the fact that they can feel free to speak their minds with one another, maybe that is a good sign for them.
See, I feel like what was the good sign was when the blind date teams were afraid to speak their mind to each other. Like, I feel like too much speaking your mind is not a good thing.
Well, Tyler and Laura pointed out that because they aren't comfortable with each other, they've managed to, that's actually helped them.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. Like, I think the more, polite you are with your partner, I think the better the things are on The Amazing Race, as opposed to, telling your partner off. We saw last season, with Shelley and Liese, but, you have a mom and a daughter who are not afraid to say what they want to each other. And you have teams, getting into huge fights on the race.
Yeah, and I think the longer you go on the race, the worse it gets, because the more tired you are and the more stressed out you are, and you can't keep up the facade forever.
Yeah, I do feel like there's something there. I mean, and we've seen great Amazing Race teams that really fight with each other a lot. Like Dave and Rachel come to mind, where they won so many first places, and they fought with each other the whole entire race. But that being said, I feel like it's almost like if you are afraid to fight with your partner, that is in some way that's good.
In some ways, it's good. I think it can go either way, though. You don't want to be constantly fighting with your partner, but you also don't want to be afraid of what they're going to say either.
Yes. Let's talk about.
You need to be able to say, you're wrong, and we need to go the other way, or we need to take all the food items. You need to be able to say that, and you need to know you're going to be heard.
Yeah.
And I think every single time Haley is right about something, it makes Blair that much more reluctant to hear her.
Do you think there's some sort of a predisposition here, though? Because Haley feels like, see, this is a typical doctor, that he's not listening to me, and I'm a nurse. And do you feel like that she came into the race with that kind of baggage about doctors, and the fact he's not listening to her is really opening up a wound that has not healed?
Well, everything I know about the interactions of doctors and nurses comes from watching Scrubs.
Yes.
And I've been told it's actually a fairly good representation of the interactions between people in a hospital. But there was a lot about the nurses were the ones that secretly had all the answers and kind of kept the doctors from really screwing up. And Haley mentions that this episode. And I think she does have this I think she's very used to being heard and having the right answer.
Yeah.
And especially when it's a doctor.
I know that this is probably a hot button issue and one that I am ill prepared to speak about. I do feel like
You're
Nicole,
married to a nurse.
yes, and I feel like Nicole would say that the nurse is there, like taking care of, the nurse is often like spending more time with the patient, and then the doctor sort of comes in and gets the update, and then wants to, make a decision. And maybe the nurse doesn't always agree with that decision because of, they've spent more time with the patient.
Yeah, I think that's very fair, and that's something. I think that's pretty common.
Yeah, and so, again, not my area of expertise, but
you probably know better than I do because you spend a lot of time with a nurse, and
yes,
I really don't.
They don't let things go. I can tell you that also from the ones that I know. They really don't drop anything. Like a dog with a bone. Let's talk about Team J and J.
All right.
Is the honeymoon over, Jess?
We still haven't seen them get harsh with each other.
Yeah, but I felt like at the start of this episode, I almost felt like we had some sparks, and I wonder if have the sparks fizzled by the end of this. They're not fighting, but I almost feel like has the attraction worn off?
I don't think so. I think everybody's just got to kind of slow their roll. Because it's really only been, it's been less than a week at this point. You're not, nobody is ever planning their wedding to someone a week after meeting them,
Yeah.
We got to give them time, and they're also trying to win a race. And I think Jackie kind of said this very succinctly, that, yeah, she's not ruling it out, but she's also got a bigger goal in sight right now, and she doesn't want to get distracted by that.
Just going back to the doctors and nurses thing for 1 second, how do you feel about a future season of Survivor? Doctors versus nurses versus orderlies?
Doctors versus nurses versus patients.
Versus patients. Oh, my God.
I know who's going to win the immunity challenges. It's not going to be the patients.
Oh, boy. Wow. What a fireworks show that would be. Okay. But in the beginning of the episode, did it seem like, hey, Jackie and Jeffrey were the only blind date team that shared a room?
Yeah, it's true. They were sleeping in the same bed and everything.
Underwear, they said, right?
Yeah, I think it bodes well. And, they had that little joke when they got to the room in Thailand, and they were like, yeah, we can use the room by ourselves for a while.
Yeah. How about that, Jess?
Yeah, I don't think we should rule this out yet.
Do you think, is it possible, did we have a blind date team hook up?
I think it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen yet. I think it will happen very far into the race.
Yes.
If it happens at all.
All right.
But I think it's more likely that there were drunken hookups that happened after the race, after all the tension was gone,
Okay. Then, as far as the other blind date teams go, we talked about Kurgan. They're just going to be friends now. They're just friends.
Yep. And I think that's cool.
Right.
And I like that they're both on the same page with that. Because it would be really uncomfortable for there to be a blind date team where one of them thought it was really going well and one of them didn't.
Jaylani and Jenny. This one also, where they were very effective through 2 legs. Seems like the wheels are coming off Jaylani and Jenny a bit.
A little bit. And, I love that too because I think it's incredibly boring when one team just steamrolls over all the other teams.
Yeah. And now it seems like, they were the team that we're just friends, we're just going to work together, but now it seems like Jaylani is becoming a little bit of a target for Jenny. She's getting frustrated with him.
Yeah, I mean, he has not been as good in the tasks as she has, kind of across the board.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think that they can overcome this, Jess?
I think they can. I think they just need to feel out each other's strengths and weaknesses a little bit better.
Okay. And then our other blind date team is Tyler and Laura. I feel like Tyler and Laura had a quiet night.
Yeah, well, they have not been one of the powerhouse teams yet. They're up in the front, but they don't have strong enough personalities that they're the first team that leaps to mind when I want to talk about teams. They're good enough in the challenges. They're good enough with the navigation. They're solid, but they're not superstars.
Jess, talk to me about the selfie stick.
Well, apparently they should have called this season Amazing Race Selfie. Because we got a team that got eliminated because they took a selfie.
Should Harold from Harold and Kumar have been on it?
I would feel really bad for him because he'd probably get kicked out pretty early, just like he got kicked out of his show pretty early.
Yeah. So, boy, Amazing Race is really trying to make the selfie a big part of the show.
You just know that somebody in the boardroom has a 13-year-old kid somewhere. They're like, oh, these kids, you know what they like these days? They like their selfies and their selfie sticks. We got to put this on the show so we can get that youth market.
Yeah, because kids, they're going to watch this Amazing Race if people are taking selfies. Kids want to watch a show about what they're doing. They're taking selfies. They want to see people take selfies.
Yeah. Oh, my God, Rob, there's this show on Friday nights. We got to watch it because there's going to be selfies on it.
There's going to be selfies and ladyboys. It's a family fun.
Yeah, it's in the 8 p.m. time slot.
Yeah, so you got to get the selfie stick happening. They started incorporating some of the selfies into, we had like the big group selfie, which was like sort of like Ellen at the Oscars last year, right?
Yeah, I heard, I don't know if this is true or not, I heard that the cameramen are taking a large chunk of the selfies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I will ask CJ and Libby about the selfies. And spoiler alert, they're not happy about talking about selfies.
That shocks me.
They were not really particularly willing to entertain my theory that the selfie really cost them in the race.
They were a little bit sore about getting out that early, aren't they?
I'm not sure, but that they said that no, it wasn't the selfie that cost them. They said it was the fact that the train they were on broke down. But I tried to that my theory was that yeah, but you
should have been on the other train.
If you didn't take the selfie, then you would have been on a different train that didn't break down, and I felt like they were not conceding that point.
Yeah, well, I hope you didn't get in a yelling argument with
them.
No,
there's no yelling. There was no yelling.
I feel like you would have hyped this a little bit more.
Believe me, I would have posted it on Monday if that was the case.
Yeah, coming up on Rob Has a Podcast. Rob verbally abuses a
Rob
team.
versus Team Tuskegee. Yes. Okay. Jess, let's talk about the tasks a little bit. Okay, we've touched on the a little bit of all of them, but let's take us through the first task tonight.
All right. So the first task, we've got our detour.
Yes.
And you've got your choice between your ziplining while serving food, and there's also you get to go to a wave park because going to a wave park worked out so well for teams in the last season.
Yes.
Like as soon as I saw the words wave park, I'm like, don't do that one. That's bad. That's a bad idea, Jeans.
That's right. That's right. Stay away from anything with waves on The Amazing Race.
Yeah, like that is they're gonna have one professional doing it, and it's gonna look easy, and you're gonna get on it, and you're gonna wipe out in 0.03 seconds.
That's right. Okay, so would you have known from the clue that tree was the way to go?
I would see wave park, and I would not do it.
Yeah. Yeah, the wakeboarding seemed very difficult.
Yeah, it seemed a lot like the task in Malta last season, where there was one task that was kind of, comparatively boring, but everyone was going to be able to do it. And then there was a task that they put there for the purposes of calling it a detour, but nobody who didn't have superpowers was going to be able to actually finish it.
Yeah, it was a little bit like the greased pole from last season.
Very much like that.
And then tree, is that a real thing, Jess, of waiter service on zip lines, or is that an Amazing Race original?
I think it might be something that one place does. I don't think it's a trend that is sweeping Thailand.
Yes. Like, yeah, you see another one of these Zipline restaurants opened up?
Oh man, you know what happened last time we went to the Zipline restaurant?
Yeah. What's the worst food to order at the Zipline restaurant?
Yeah, I was gonna say soup was probably the worst thing.
Soup?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably less than ideal. Probably like any sort of like martini or like champagne, anything in sort of like a tall stem glass is probably bad also.
yeah, no, you want it. You want highball glasses for the Zipline.
That's right. That's right. Or like something like in a bottle that you could just sort of open.
Yeah,
That would be good. All right.
something that you can serve on a carabiner.
And then in the Ladyboy task, do you think that Tim and TJ were home tonight watching this episode screaming?
You know, I've been talking to Tim and TJ. Hopefully, going to get them on the podcast so we can ask them ourselves at some point. But I'm sure that they were very upset that they did not get to do the drag task.
They did not get a 5-hole task, of which would be dressing in drag.
Yeah, they unfortunately there was no such place for them in their season.
Okay. Jess, who stands out to you right now as the top of the power rankings? I feel like this is a tricky week to sort of examine this. Who would you say right now looks like to you the strongest team?
You know, I gotta say, Steve and Allie are really, they moved up to the top last week, and they're kind of sticking around up there this week.
Yeah.
I really like their chances.
Yeah, I think you make a good point there with them. I know they didn't finish in first. They don't have a first place finish yet on the race, but they seem steady.
Yeah, they seem like kind of Jason and Amy-esque almost.
Yeah, like they're going to be right there. It's hard to imagine a scenario where they implode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see them. I see if they go out early, it's going to be because of something that they can't control.
Yeah, I don't disagree with them. I like that call. Let's do. You want to just come up with our top 3 right now? Who would you say is 2?
Oh, that's a little bit tougher. Because I think a lot of the teams that were in the top have kind of dropped down a little bit. It was very topsy-turvy this week. So I think that up until like the last 10 minutes of the episode, I would have still put Jelani and Jenny up in that top 3.
I think I'm out on Jelani and Jenny.
I think Jeff and Jackie go up in the top 3 now.
Jeff and Jackie. I don't know. I feel like there was some cracks there. I feel like I would put Tyler and Laura ahead of them.
Oh, Tyler and Laura, I can't even name you one interesting thing they did apart from coining the term lady man.
Jess, that I feel like I shouldn't need to explain to you, being interesting is not part and parcel of being a good Amazing Race team.
That's a fair point. It is. But I feel like I would even notice like if they were doing really well. I guess they've been the steadiest.
Yeah. And are we sleeping on our truck stop love team that came in first place this week?
I was so thrilled to see them come in first. I really like them. They seem like really cool people. I am a little surprised, like they're in such a tough field of competition that I was surprised to see them not just like luck into the first place finish, but to dominate. That was really wonderful to see. They did everything perfectly.
Who did you have marked as the team that was going to get engaged tonight?
I thought it was going to be Matt and Ashley.
Okay, so you had it right.
I had it right. I thought, like, they seem like they've been together a little bit longer than the other teams, and I didn't see, like, I don't get that vibe from Steve and Allie yet.
Mm-hmm.
And Rochelle and Mikey, he hasn't even met her kid.
I thought it was going to be them. I thought it was going to be Rochelle.
They're taking it pretty slow.
Okay.
And they wouldn't keep playing that thing about he hasn't met my kid, he hasn't met my kid. When you date someone with a kid, you have to get the kid on board with the decision to marry that person.
Can't shoplift the pootie? Is that right?
What?
That's look. That's
a thing?
That's a thing. That's what Rod Tidwell told me.
Okay.
We haven't talked much about Harley and Jonathan, even though they came in last night or tonight on the show. What happened to them with the flight? Like, it seemed like very quickly they were just like, oh yeah, we're totally screwed beyond anything we can control.
Yeah, it seemed like there were really 2 flights that you wanted to get on, and one of them, some of the front-runner teams just decided that was the one they needed to be on, and they didn't look to see that there was a much earlier one. And then everybody else was clamoring for that much earlier one, and a couple of teams got left out in the cold, like Team Kurgan got left out in the cold, and Harley and Jonathan also. And then Kurt and Bergen found another flight, and Harley and Jonathan didn't, and they got stuck on the one that was landing the next morning.
Is it possible that Harley and Jonathan were hungover from date night?
It didn't look like they were partying it up. Like, do people get hot spring hangovers?
I don't know, but maybe they were like a step slow. Everybody else managed to get on the first 2 flights. They were the only ones that didn't.
Maybe they were too relaxed.
They were too relaxed. It took the edge off. Is that a thing, Jess? Is that like, on Survivor, you could have a thing where you go on a reward challenge and like check out of the game. Is that you go on like a date night and you're totally out of the Amazing Race sort of routine?
That could be, and I'm going to be very anxious to see what happens next week to Matt and Ashley.
Well, then if something does happen to them, we'll say very smart on Kurgan to give away that date night coupon. That's like the blind U-turn, and you don't even realize it.
So my question is, if that happens, are we going to see everybody giving away their date night for the entire rest of the season?
Yes, it will be like Survivor San Juan del Sur, and we will call it the Trojan U-turn.
Yes.
And appropriately on Blind Date Amazing Race, sponsored by Trojan.
Yeah, well, you don't want to forget your Trojans on date night.
Teams will get to go spend a night at Trojan date night. Okay, it's sponsored by our friends at Trojan.
Once again, airing in the 8 o'clock hour.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Whether you're a lady boy or not. All right, Jess, let's bring in the questions from tonight's show.
Oh, boy.
By the way, Jess, how have the ratings been for Amazing Race after Friday night last week?
Yeah, not good.
Not good? Like, not like, wow, you think every season will have a bunch of blind date teams from here on out?
I don't think so. I think it's more like we're not even sure we're going to have more Amazing Race at this point.
Interesting. Okay. Well, we will follow that story as it goes along all season. All right, Jess, let's start some questions here. And here's question number 1 from Nick 2S. Was that the most frantic anyone has ever been after losing something?
Yeah, well, again, I think it's pretty clear that the ring must have been in that fanny pack, or he wouldn't have freaked out so hard.
Yeah. Boy, Matt is the Smeagol of Amazing Race.
Needs his precious.
Needs the precious. Okay. This is from Melissa. Mel Got Served says, has the Amazing Race officially killed the selfie?
Yeah, this is a show that it's one of its biggest demographics of viewers is like retired people.
Yes.
So once the selfie reaches them, it might officially be no longer cool.
Oh, I think that's definitely happened.
Yeah, I think.
And here's the thing, like the actual act is fine, but the word "let's take a selfie," "let me take a selfie," like I think that's pretty much over.
Yeah, I mean, people have been doing this since there were cameras. You've always been able to like put the camera way back and like take a picture of yourself and someone else. I've been doing that for like a decade.
Yeah.
But now that it has a name and people are using that name all the time, and it's like the most frequent photography out there, like
Just
you don't even get people to take pictures of you anymore.
In honor of the Amazing Race, let me take I'll take a podcast selfie. Here we go. Oh my God! We've made history. Well, now it's officially dead. Now it's officially dead. We did it on a podcast.
No, you have to post this to social media, and then it will be dead.
Okay. All right. Well, I will do that after the show. I don't want to be too distracted. Samantha Mann.
Something for you to enjoy after the race.
Yeah, it says, this show has become unwatchable the last few seasons. If you talk with Phil, please let him know they need to focus on great routes and tasks and leave the gimmicks out of this.
Well, next time we talk to Phil, the very first thing I'm going to do is berate him for the poor quality of his show. I know that's really going to make him feel good about talking to us.
Yes. Phil, listen to me. This blind date is for the birds. Look, let's get back to great routes. Let's get back to tasks, Phil.
I'm going to be like, I've just got one question for you, Phil. Why does your show suck?
Yes. Yes.
Why don't you just tell me with your pets?
Yes. All right. Melissa wants to know, are you disappointed that there aren't roadblocks this season? Just where are the roadblocks?
They're coming. We're going to get roadblocks.
Where are the roadblocks?
But I've noticed we've had fewer roadblocks in recent seasons. Last season, we didn't get one every leg either. We are going to get them.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Jess says it will happen. David Bloomberg says, what's the deal with another detour where one task is so much quicker, easier than the other one? Jess, is there a secret to figuring out which one is going to be the easier one?
I think at this point they're just kind of running out of ideas, and they used to plan very carefully around, like, we want these detours to kind of take the same amount of time. Like, similar to, I'm sure you heard about in the Survivor premiere, they had the 3 puzzles, and they had everybody in production try out the puzzles and, like, make sure that the average time to complete each one was about the same. And I think it used to be the same with the detours. They would test out these detours meticulously, and on average, people would take about the same amount of time to complete both sides. And nowadays, it's like, we need 2 tasks. And one of them should probably be one that people can do, but the other one, we just need to make sure there's 2 tasks there.
So is the second task too easy, or the second task is too hard?
I think usually the task is impossible.
So the one that they just made up, then...
But we've seen both this season so far.
Yeah.
Like in Japan, we had one that was clearly incredibly easy, and then one that was going to make better television that was much, much harder.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of running into the same thing here.
Okay. Let's take this one from South Newton 1. Says, what do you think was more annoying? Haley's telling Blair that he has to listen to her 1,000,000 times, or Tyler saying "Lady Man" 1,000,000 times? What would you rather?
I think Tyler's got hashtags running through his head. He's like, I'm going to coin a hashtag if it kills me.
Yeah, if I keep saying it, they're going to have to put it on the bottom of the screen.
Pretty much, yeah.
Lady Man, Lady Man, Lady Man, Lady Man, Lady Man.
Are you trying to summon the Lady Man? Is it going to come out of the mirror and kill you now?
Oh, no. Please, no. I'm going to have nightmares if you keep going with that. Jess, so you think the race will continue on in Thailand for another leg?
That's what it looks like, and I wonder if this is going to be another one of those Amazing Race 24 scenarios where we're only leaving the country every other leg.
Every other leg. No, I think that's a thing now on the Amazing Race. I think that's officially a thing. So next leg, do you feel like Jonathan and Harley can bounce back from being the last team to arrive and having to do the pit stop?
Yeah, boy, I want them to.
Or speed bump, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I like these guys. I really like that every episode is a new exercise in confronting one of Jonathan's fears, and he totally goes for it, and he's fine. But, I'm a little worried about them. They seem like they might be a little out of their element.
Yeah, I could see it not going too much further for Team New Kid.
Yeah, I mean, right now, we can say they're hanging tough, but they got to take it step by step.
That's right. All right. Adam Driscoll says, was anyone else left wishing that date night would have just gone to Haley and Blair just for the reaction?
I'm counting on that to happen at least one time this season.
Yeah, that would be good. Where they go out to dinner and basically they say, okay, and what would you like to have? And Blair is like, yes, I will have the seared mahi-mahi, and the lady will have the tortellini. And she's like, oh, I didn't want that. Why did you order for me? You never listened to me. I wanted the surf and turf.
Yeah, I hope that we get like the whole first 15 minutes of the show we can dedicate to this.
Now, I thought it was weird how they did that. I mean, they have date night, but we got nary a second of what happened at date night.
We got a second of it.
A second. It was like, we had date night. Like, what's the point of it? What's the point of it if we're not even going to see it?
I think we're going to see it if it's interesting. Like, this was just a couple of dudes in water.
Whoa. All All right, South Newton says, that's a shame. I thought last season was really good, and I enjoyed tonight's episode and the premiere episode.
Yeah, I'm not hating it yet.
Yeah. Do you like all the camaraderie? That's what Sarah wants to know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Lots of time for the Amazing Race teams to get to know each other. Do you like all that camaraderie from Sarah Freeman?
Well, it happens every season, regardless of whether or not we see it. Like, there is not a single season, except maybe some of these all-star seasons, where you don't have people going on social media after the show and talking about their Amazing Race family and being super good friends. In this cast in particular, and I think also the season 23 cast was like this a lot. They all still hang out all the time, and they are commenting on each other's Facebooks, and they're taking selfies together, and it happens all the time, so we might as well see the origins of it.
Does the Amazing Race 26 cast talk to each other more than the Survivor 30 cast?
Well, they don't have a good moniker for themselves.
Okay. Well, here, let's... Well,
they're not the Dirty 26.
Yeah, 26 is Fantastics.
Hey, we've got to go back to
26.
I don't know, man. I think we got to keep working on that.
All right, let us know in the chat room if you have a good hashtag for the Amazing Race 26 cast. All right, Harry Schaefer says, what's the worst job in Thailand? Club pillow washer.
Yeah. Yeah. Can we talk about the fact that there were statues out in front of the club and they were blurred?
Blurred statues? No, I did not catch that. My East Coast stream is so fuzzy, I can't really tell when things are blurred.
When you watch it in high def, you will see that the only thing that's actually blurry to most viewers were the genital areas of the statues in front of the Ladyboy Club.
Okay, interesting. We'll check that out. Jeremiah Yap says, last season seemed to be the season of animals. Will this season be the season of dance? Now, is this technically, Jess, is this a memory task question?
Yeah, I think he's got to be banned now.
Sorry, Jeremiah Yap.
Sorry.
You are officially banned. No.
We're putting you in timeout. You can
timeout. You go to timeout. No, I don't think that he was asking about memory task.
I like Keith Dixon's hashtag here.
Yes, 26.
Selfie sticks 26.
Selfie sticks 26. Great. Yes. Mr. Air Sonic says, who else was blindsided by the preview for the next episode? Now, is this the episode that we saw tonight or the one coming up?
I think it's got to be the one that's coming up. But I didn't think there was much in there to be noted.
Okay. Well, I know people get particular about that, so I will skip a question about the preview. Let's do one or two more questions. Shane Gallagher, the great Shane Gallagher, who writes our recaps for these Amazing Race episodes, says, will we see another proposal before the end of the season? What do you think, Jess?
I'm not sure who it would be.
Blair and Haley?
It could be anybody except Blair and Haley. It'd probably be Bergen and Kurt before it was Blair and Haley.
Yeah. How about that? I mean, did they do any research with Bergen and Kurt and so what are you looking for in a guy?
And he's like, well, he's got to be a guy. Oh, good, we got one of those.
Yes. I mean, that they both have a similar type, and both of their types is nothing like the person that they got matched up with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they look like they could be brothers.
Yes. Okay. This is from Anthony. Are Harley and Jonathan the best TV this season?
Nah, I don't think so. Yeah. I think they're all right. They're better TV than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, they're not bad, but I mean, I'm not gonna write home to them.
I like them. I think they're cute, but I don't know that
they're
I'm going to put them in the pantheon.
Yeah,
they're right.
They're right, but they're not great.
All right. I mean, I would give them a hug, but
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we're just gonna be friends, but we're not. There's no romance happening here with us.
Yeah, that's if we're on a blind date with
them,
we're
not falling all over ourselves for them. Okay.
Right. We're not sleeping in the same hotel room during the
Yeah, they can get their own hotel room. Right. All right. Last question. This is from Keith Dixon. Matt was attempting to scoop the spilled drink back into the glass. Would production have allowed that?
It
I
seems
believe
like
that is valid at the truck stop.
Ew.
They allow that.
I just couldn't get past the idea of like drinking ramen out of a champagne glass. Maybe I'm just not classy enough.
That's very classy. That's how I make top ramen in a martini glass.
Well, aren't you fancy?
Yes. Yes. That's a way to really class it up. Yeah. All right. So, Jess, great job tonight on the recap.
Well, great job to you as well, Rob.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. So, of course, for you guys listening to the audio version, I'm going to put my interview with CJ and Libby from earlier this week. I'll post that at the end of this very podcast that you're listening to. I will not have an Amazing Race exit interview because of the non-elimination leg, but that doesn't mean that Jess will not have a blog for you this week.
I'm definitely going to have a blog for you this week.
Yes. You don't skip the blogs because it's non-elimination, right?
Nope, there's no rest for the wicked.
No rest. Okay. So, and then we will have more Amazing Race next Friday night, back after another episode of The Amazing Race at 9:15 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, we will.
Okay. All right. So, thanks everybody who chatted with us tonight. Do you have a hashtag, Jess?
I'm going to go with Hot Spring Hangover.
Hot Spring Hangover. I was going to pitch you on Eat, Sleep, Mingle.
Eat, Sleep, Mingle is a pretty good one. That's a good throwback, too.
Yes. What do you want? You make the call.
I like mine better.
Okay. What is it? Hot Spring Hangover?
Hot Spring Hangover.
Well, I like that we've incorporated the Hangover 2 into our
We can
Amazing
call
Race
it Hot
test.
Spring Hangover 2.
Hot Spring Hangover 2. Yeah. Oh my God. How are we gonna get to the wedding? What's gonna happen?
This all happened again.
Yeah. Oh my God. Ed Helms has a face tattoo. Okay. So should a team have had to have gotten a face tattoo?
That would have been a really epic fast forward.
Yes, that would have been fantastic. In face tattoo, teams will have to get a tattoo on their face. Or in yo-yo, teams will have to yo-yo 6 times. All right. Jess, okay, great job. Looking forward to reading the blog. And again, looking forward to seeing you at the live know-it-alls this week.
Yeah, I'm super psyched. We're going to hang out. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great. Scott St. Pierre, great job as per usual. And we'll have much more Amazing Race coming up next week. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Take care.